Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back, everyone who's on the morning session and everyone who's subscribed to the channel. It's good to have you back on the session. Today, this afternoon, is our last session of the year. Let's see if we can make it a good one. Hopefully we can. Hopefully the market is cooperative, wants to give us something that we can use. For all newcomers, welcome to the channel. Good to have you here. I'm sure you'll find that you are enjoying what we're doing here, and that this is a good room to be a part of, and that yeah, there's a bunch of different trading styles, and so there's something that you can take away from it. Also, something that you can add. Um, just taking a peek at where we ended up this morning. I remember just before we got off, putting together these two breaker blocks and just looking at where price was bouncing out of, and I can see this lower one, which is the one that I was really paying attention to, is where price retraded back to at 1220 and has bought out of it, which is a good sign. In that case, we'll get rid of this one. But there wasn't a trade. I didn't take a trade before lunch. I did attempt a long where I was clearly offsides. I attempted a long up in here at 10 o'clock for a silver bullet right in this point here. Traded down. There was a fair value gap. I thought it would buy out. It completely collapsed on us. So I just stayed out of the market, and we continued to watch price and to see what price was doing. I'm going to bounce down to the ES just to see if it finally did reach that level. And look, here's the target I put there. And I wasn't willing to take a long until ES was able to break down. I saw it tried to pick up here, but I was like, nope, probably too early. Because I have a level that I'd like to see it get to. And if it doesn't get to that level, then this is invalid. So it's good to see that that happened during lunch. And now we are pushing out of it and eclipse the highs just before lunch. Let's take a peek and see what the dollar is doing. Oh, wow. Okay. So the dollar used the lunch hour to retrace or continue to push lows. We were hoping that the dollar would push and make some new lows. Let's go to the hour, which would then push the price of commodities upwards. Looks like so far the dollar has not really done much all day. It's just hovered around the new day opening gap, which is the open of that day. So not a lot to say about the dollar. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down. So maybe we'll see something similar from commodities. So we'll just pay attention and see what it gives us. We don't want to force anything. This is the last day of the year. It's a Friday. It's the afternoon. It's the last day of the month. It's the last day of the week. There's so many reasons why you want to be careful today. But that doesn't mean that today can't be a learning experience and can't be a trading day. So thank you for being with me. Thank you for joining. And yeah, let's see what happens this session. Yeah, I think these lines here are no longer valid. Just looking at where the ES is at for the hour. So it's inside of a fair value gap here, a bearish one. All right. So we want to be careful we don't get trapped here and then price seeks something lower. We do hope that price continues higher. Based on this morning, we had a bias that price would move higher and it would eclipse yesterday's high. So far, that has not happened. So we're hopeful this afternoon that we get a push up above the early morning highs, which was here, 48.41, and the all-time high for the year, which was yesterday's high, is at 48.41 and a half. So it's only half a point that ES missed by this morning. So we want to see if price can climb all the way back up and overtake that. If we start to see resistance and slow down either in this area or there's another fair value gap here. Right. And again, this is for ES. If we see either two of these areas start to hold price back, then we'll adjust whether we feel like price is going to eclipse this morning's high and push for yesterday's high, ultimately closing out at the high of the year. So yesterday's high is the high of the year, and that's what we're trying to do today. But let's go back to Nasdaq. We'll drop down to a lower time frame, 15 minutes or so, and then let's look and see how price is reacting. Okay, so we got to push through that first level. We may get a retest back down in the next candle, pushing upwards. Let's see. There's a small one here. And a larger one here. Right. While we wait, I'm just going to jump in and check out the Dow. I know there's a few people in the room who trade the Dow. And before we got started, I remember, or during the last session, I'm sorry, I remember looking at the Dow and seeing that they had a long way to reach the new week opening gap. I just want to take a peek. Okay, yeah, it's still down there quite a bit, 37,700. All right, so it looks like the Dow is likely to not reach its level unless we get a reversal here and all indices push down, and then the Dow will eventually reach the new week opening gap. Oh, nice, Chris. Sweet. Little over positive. Hey, that's all that matters. Hello, welcome back. Good to have you guys back in the room. Always nice to rebound and catch back up, Chris, when you had when you took a loss earlier. I'm looking to do the same. I took that loss on that one silver bullet I tried to take at 10 o'clock. So we'll see this afternoon if I can recover. Oh, I see. Yeah, Chris, did you catch when I was showing earlier? I know we were all looking at the reversal, but I had mentioned that we should probably wait for, let me go back to the 1 minute. All right, so we were here and it looked like everything was looking good, but you know what? I think we were on ES. Yeah, we were on ES. And we were talking about how this looked like a fairly good entry for a reversal because it was starting to show bullish momentum. You started to get some impulse candles. You took out a swing high, like everything was looking good. But the fact that I felt like we needed to reach this level. Meant we were probably early. Those are the kind of pitfalls I used to fall in earlier in my trading, where I would see this and it would look like the setup I wanted, and I would take it. And then this would happen, and then I would be confused and not know exactly what was coming next. And then when it reached the bottom here and started to pick up, I wouldn't enter a trade because I was already, my confidence was already gone from this entry. And so learning to not get in too early was something that, excuse me, it took me a while. A lot of back testing, a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, for sure. Wow, Nasdaq is moving good, looking really good. We've had a rebound of over 70 points from this breaker at lunchtime. Oh, you got in at 60. Okay. Oh, wow. So you got in on the retracement back to the new week opening gap and you ran it up to 80. That's an excellent trade. Not bad at all. Yep. You're right. Right around 1230, right in this range. It made a slight retracement to about 50% of this impulse candle, 50% of the breaker block, and then it was off to the races. We took out this high right here. So once it was buying up and it took out the swing high, it changed. Well, actually, no, we were already bullish, right? This leg up here took us bullish. We saw a retracement back. Let's just measure that to see where we were. Probably more like a 90% retracement. Oops. Okay, slightly deeper than the 88.6, right? We saw an eclipse of that high, retracement back down. This was the new day opening gap. And then we've been off to the races since. Now we'll see if we get some type of retracement that allows an entry for a continuation of bullish momentum, or if we're not bullish and you're more bearish, then you want to wait and wait for price action to give you that entry. Yeah, no lower low. Yeah, you're right. Stopped here and started buying up. Yep. Okay, so it reached this level the first time around 1215 on ES, then 1217, ultimately reaching its low right around the same time the ES started. I mean, I'm sorry, the Nasdaq started to pick up. All right. Let's check and see where we are with the dollar. Okay, on the hourly, the dollar's still buying, still seeking higher prices. We're starting to get a retracement from the Dow as well as from the S&P. We're seeing similar action on the Nasdaq. Let me just make this larger. I know it's probably hard to see. There we go. So we see the hourly on Nasdaq pulling back as well. Hmm. All right, Mr. Sticky. We'll catch you next week. Happy New Year to you. We'll see you Tuesday morning. Ooh. Ah. Okay, sweet, sweet, sweet. Good job. Glad you didn't ruin all of your accounts. That's fine. That's it. No more. Hmm. All right, Brad. Take care. Happy New Year to you. I'll see you on Tuesday. I'll do what I can. If I can help you become a winner, Chris, I'm happy to do it. But just remember, one of the best pieces of advice I received from someone is being a day trader doesn't mean you're an everyday trader. So you have to start to learn when market conditions look favorable for your setup and only take trades at that time. And one of the biggest urges you're going to have to fight is the fact that you may not be available all the time. And so the few hours that you are able to sit in front of the charts, sometimes you feel compelled to take a trade because that's your only opportunity. But you have to fight that if the market conditions aren't what you're looking for. Here, man. No more. 1. All right. Yeah, no problems. I'm glad that I'm able to help you with that, John. Absolutely proud of that and happy that you're getting value from our session. 954. Oh wow. You're saying you entered in a sell down here. Well, I'd imagine you're in quite drawdown now. I mean, you're already up to 50 points in drawdown. I'm yeah, I would say, Victor, I'm not looking for a short right now. At least not right now. I mean, things may change, but as things look right now, I'm not looking to short the market. I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in and give you their perspective, but I'm not looking for a big bearish momentum, especially not from where it is now. If we trade back down to this level and we get back down near your entry, then potentially we can look bearish. But right now, it's not where I'm at. And I mean, you do see price retracing back down to your entry now, so that's a good sign. So you may want to just kind of monitor that and maybe pick a level where you say, okay, if it reaches above here, then I'm going to get out. But I hope it continues to retrace down so I minimize my loss. Okay, last one. You're not in loss. Wait a minute. 16,954. Yep. So Victor, are you saying that you took you went long? You took a buy from 16,954, or are you wanting to sell from where we are down to 16,954? I don't think I understand what you were saying. Oh, okay. I'm still bullish, Victor. I mean, there is a retracement going on right now. But yeah, that's one of those things that you either have to learn to live with and expect it, especially so when you are watching price action, right? And when you look to the left and you start seeing key levels that's being taken over. So when you see price buy up and it buys above a previous high, you're going to get a retracement afterwards. It's going to start pulling back. Now it could pull back as little as this. It could pull back down into a fair value gap or something that's close by, right? And then you see it push even higher. Again, you go to the left. We have equal highs. So we know price would like to go and take out equal highs. And on top of that, we're not too far away from here, which is also a bearish fair value gap. So you can wait and see if price can push up one more time, eclipse this equal highs, eclipse these equal highs, and then maybe it'll get stuck up here. So maybe you want to take a TP. That's how I would do it if I was looking at it from the outside in. But of course, when you're in the trade and it's your trade, obviously you have some emotions that are also something that you need to tame. So while price is retracing back and you saw a high of 21 and now we're down 20 points off of its high, like you get to decide whether you're okay with that kind of retracement happening. Okay, 1703. Yeah, so far that short is not a bad area to be in. It looks like there may be some more retracements that's happening. It'll throw me into a trade if it retraces a little bit more. Hopefully my tight stop loss is enough for price to then turn around and do something different, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm not willing to risk too much today. One thing you do want to pay attention to, that while it's in this fair value gap, all the candle bodies are closing above. We have had some piercing of the middle level, but so far everything's closed above until we start getting closures below. Um, Probably no reason to abandon a long. Yeah, absolutely, Chuck. Yeah, when you're working with a micro, you can have a much larger stop loss, and you can also hold your stop longer. Um, Between yeah, micros and paper trading, I would say paper trading is probably easier, but a micro is probably more true um, to trading environment because you do at least have something on the line, even though it's not a lot. Um, so you can start to, I guess, gain control of your emotions. Whereas paper trading, a lot of times you can just, keep your emotions in check and just be unattached, just because it's not really linked to your performance at all. You can always reset it. If you win, you don't get anything. If you lose, you don't lose anything. Yep. 17,100. Okay. I will take it. So not quite taking over and making a new high, but getting up in the range. All right. We have everything buying so far this hour. The dollar's still buying. We have the Dow, we have the S&P and Nasdaq all rebounding. These are the highs for the hour, but we do see now it's starting to push back into those levels. The dollar never really gave up. It's just been firing on all cylinders for the first 30 minutes. All right, let's go ahead and mark out these equal highs. Get rid of this Fibonacci as well. I'm not sure if it's going to retrace anymore. If it does, I can always add it back. I don't know, Victor. You're getting close to that level. Price really is right now. It's sticking here. It's not showing a strong willingness to make higher prices. So it may decide to come lower before retreating back to higher prices. So it's up to you. That's one thing I don't want to do on this channel is to tell people when to enter, when to exit. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not licensed to do so. I do talk about what I would do, and you're free to do whatever you want with that. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I put up the disclaimer that this should be not taken as financial advice. I'm a learning trader just like everyone else. And so, Victor, I would say use your best judgment, make a decision, and then you can learn from that decision. But if you don't make a decision, and that was some other piece of advice, sorry, I don't really want to preach here, but early in my career, I had a boss who told me once, he said, when you're faced with a decision, use all the information you have and make one. After the decision is made, we can go back and we can figure out if there was a better decision to be made, and we can learn from it, and we can be much stronger going forward. But if you freeze up and you don't make a decision, then we're hypothetically talking about what you should have done. And then we have to wait until the next time you're faced with a decision before we have a real example of whether you perform well or not. So don't be afraid of a decision, and also don't be afraid to learn from it. All right. Well, looks like price didn't want me to join. I clearly chose the wrong fair value gap, at least the way price is looking right now. But that's fine. Well, I wanted to be more conservative since, again, we are at the end of the year. I do want to have a good session today. I don't mind taking a trade, but I don't want to risk the farm. And I've already taken one loss earlier today. So it's not worth compiling that as looking into the next year where hopefully we have some really good price action, and I don't know, just a good year of trading. I'm really looking forward to 2024. Be my best year yet. All right, let's push through this level. We want this level to disappear. Okay, we want to see positive movement out of this fair value gap as well. Pushing through the one above, closing above it as well. All right, good to see. Now let's see what the next 30 seconds brings so we can close above this fair value gap and then start pushing towards the 17,022 level. Okay, looks like that close is going to happen. We can drop this. Hope this now becomes the floor. This becomes support to get price up to where it's going. I no longer have a limit order. I'm getting rid of that. Prices move far enough away and it's really close to where it wants to go. All right, Victor, if you did not take a TP, you should be in good hands right now. Looks like we're getting close to that level that I pointed out, 17,022. Of the other areas. All right, so we got about a 1.5 away before this last candle started to retrace a bit. This is one of the reasons why I like to close my trades a little bit before where the target is. Just because occasionally you'll get priced to start bouncing around as it gets close to the target. Let's just see what else we have after this. Okay. Oh, okay. So we got there. Sweet. All right. So anyone who had that as their target should have TP'd out by now. They hit right on the head, not a tick more. Sweet, Victor. Awesome. Awesome, man. All right. So next level would be here at 27.5. All right, this next level we have, this is a key level just on this time frame on the 5 minute, because this would denote a market structure shift. For the low that was put in down here on this 5-minute time frame, we can see that the high of this leg is right here. Right here. That's the high. So now so if we were just looking at the 5-minute time frame, we would have still had bearish bias until we get to here at 17,027.5. So now we just crossed it. Now we're bullish on the 5-minute time frame. We've already been bullish on the 1 minute, but now on a higher time frame, the 5-minute, we would also switch our sentiment to being bullish here. All right, let's drop back down. Let's take a peek at different time frames to see which one we want to move to. Yep, on the hourly, we can see how large a fair value gap we had that was created during the 10 o'clock hour. We had the big bullish movement down and then follow up at 11 o'clock, big bearish candle, followed up by another bearish candle. Those two together created what we see as this large fair value gap. Coming from, let's see what the size is, from 1728 to 1773. Okay, so we're talking 50 points here. Pretty much a 50-point fair value gap. Oh, okay. I must have drew it on the hourly already manually. Let's take it off the minute. There you go. Yep, higher, higher. There we go. Alrighty. All right. 15 minutes until 2 o'clock. Seeing how many traders we can get in here during the next hour. I know Friday afternoons is not a favorite for a lot of traders, so we may not get as many people as we had this morning. This morning was an awesome session for anyone who was there. I think we reached, at one point, we had 79 people, I believe. We had 79 people at one point this morning, between 10 and 11 o'clock. Oh, at 2 o'clock. So at 2 o'clock, there's a strategy called the silver bullet that ICT teaches, the inner circle trader. And so usually during 2 o'clock, some of us look for a silver bullet entry. Also, during the 1 o'clock hour, you're coming off of the lunchtime, so it can, at least in the first half hour, price action not be as strong as you need it. And then around 1:30, you'll start to see things change and it moves towards whatever the move for the afternoon is going to be. But 2 o'clock is, for me, 2 o'clock is like my 10 o'clock in the morning. So at 9:30, of course, you have the opening bell and you have lots of volatility, but I like to wait another 30 minutes or so and then jump in at 10 o'clock and start looking for a setup. And so for the afternoon, that's sort of the same time window. Okay, let's see if we can break through. Which time frame is this? 15. Okay, this is a 15. Let me. There we go. Just like to know what time frame I'm using on any of these markups. He was tired. Yeah, I was probably looking at my eyelids at that time. Okay, we did get a breakthrough. That's a good sign. Definitely a good sign. And we are now into that fair value gap on the hourly chart. Let's measure the morning move and see where we are as far as a retracement is concerned. Okay, we're just now crossing over the 50% mark. 50% mark was around 17,030. Okay, so busting out of this fair value gap took us across 50% retracement from this morning's down move, starting at really the high around 6 o'clock. Probably we want to start it here. Okay. Just so we're not surprised if price turns the other way. I mean, we don't expect it to, but if it does, we don't want to be surprised by it. Yeah, Chris, I've done that too many times where I come in and everything looks good, and for whatever reason, I lose my trade in the morning, and then I come back in the afternoon and I fight back for either a positive day or a break-even day. But I don't know why that first trade, for whatever reason, I can't win the first trade. Okay, 150 macro. We're in the 150 macro time now. Okay. Didn't see that. I wish I trusted the market today because I would go long here. Yep, it sure is. Yep, you get it on most hours, the last 10 minutes of the previous hour and the first 10 minutes of the following hour. Most of the time you get one of those kind of algos that runs for a certain pool of liquidity, and then continues on its way. Jump over and take a peek at where everyone else is. Yeah, still buying all three indices and the dollars. I just hate the fact that the dollar is moving in unison with the indices. Okay, let's see if we buy up from here. I only say that because a high was made, a new high was made. We had retracement down, bypassing the order block, trading below the swing low, and into a fair value gap. Consequent encroachment, 17049.75. Okay. See if we can push back above this 15-minute fair value gap. There's 3 minutes left, I believe. Yep. So this candle will close at 2 o'clock. So we want to see if we can push above the 15-minute fair value gap and close above, so then we can delete this out of the way. And then hopefully find a fair value gap on this side, which may provide an entry in the next hour for a silver bullet. That's what I would do if I was a market maker. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm not a market maker, so we'll see. Yeah, definitely a bearish fair value gap on the 1 hour. So yeah, we might find it tough to dig through this area just above us. And it's pretty big too. It's about 50 points. So it's going to take some time to dig through. May even, see a slow grind throughout the entire hour. Wouldn't surprise me. Okay, still another 2 minutes to see if we can get through the fair value gap. Okay, was not able to overtake that 15-minute fair value gap. So now we'll take that into the next hour and see where price ends up. Okay. It's a tricky area if we're looking for a silver bullet because of how many fair value gaps are right here. We did just before the close of the hour, so we got a sweep of a low. So there was a liquidity sweep. Then we have an impulse candle out, creating a fair value gap. We have price hovering in this area. In fact, at 2 o'clock exactly, touching into the fair value gap. Only time will tell. We'll see if that ends up being our silver bullet. Nope. No, Chris, that's a misconception. The fair value gap only needs to be traded into between 2 and 3, but the fair value gap, some cases, it may already exist from prior price action. In a lot of cases, it will be created between 2 and 3, but sometimes it won't. It just trade into it during that time. Hey, I don't like the fact that it couldn't close above this fair value gap here. But I do like the fact that we have closure above 50% of this fair value gap. So something has to give. Mm. Yep. Chris, I'm taking a note of the fair value gap. Does it need to be created during the time of the silver bullet, or can it be created before? So I want to go and just check some more ICT videos and just make sure that I am correct on that, since I'm passing out advice these days. All right. Gave myself a bit of homework, but nothing wrong with a little study. That. So far, nothing. All right, let's see. If that is the silver bullet, it would look like this. So 43 3/4. What's over here? Okay, we had a swing high at 41. We had a fair value gap here at 46 1/4 on this time frame. Um, I would hope that the bottom is in, based on my bullish sentiment for right now. However, the fact that the dollar is still buying means that we could see indices selling and doing a complete pivot right now and starting to sell. So yeah, if the dollar doesn't start to sell at any point, starting to get nervous about the indices, and so the bottom may not be in, but we're going to have to continue to wait. But it's the dollar. It's all the indices plus a dollar moving in the same direction that has me on pause for taking trades. Right, but we do have the macro finishing up in 20 seconds. That the 150 to 210 macro, and so let's see if price loosens up right afterwards, and if we see the dollar start to fall. right? Because right now we're basically looking and saying, okay, which one of these is the silver bullet? Is it this one and we're going up, or is it this one and we're going down? In fact, even if we don't want to use the 15-minute, let's see if there's another fair value gap on this time frame we can use, and it's right here. Right, 201 traded into it and rejected out. But right now it's anyone's game. It's 50-50, 50% for bulls, 50% for bears. So not a good trade entry for me. Okay, it's 211 now. So let's see if we get some easing in price and if it's willing to expand as opposed to staying within. This is about a 10-point sort of range. You can buy at the bottom, sell at the top, sell at the top, buy it back at the bottom. So far, that's all it's given us. Okay, says needs to be created. Okay, well, thanks for correcting me, Chris. So in that case, if it needs to be created after 2 o'clock, then we have this one. Right, but it's sold through and closed below, so we can delete it. We haven't had a bearish one created after 2 o'clock. Yep. Yep, 10-4, Chris. So we need to see a new high created. Well, we do have equal highs, so that's at least a good sign that price will want to get up there. It's like a price action leaving breadcrumbs so he can get back, find his way back. Where does it need to go to sweep liquidity? So liquidity are always going to be at your high and low points. So a low sweep is going to be here, down here. It's going to be the big one. I mean, the next small one is right here at 17,013. But if you want to look for the real liquidity sweep, it's going to be here. And then on the high end, it's going to be there. And that's on this time frame. If you want to really find where the liquidity sweeps are, you're going to have to go to a higher time frame. If you want to like, if you're looking for like the daily draw, where is it going during this entire session? It's generally not going to be on these lower time frames. It's probably going to be on more 15-minute and above. see, 2 o'clock. Let's check out a few other time frames and see if there's a better place to look at time at price right now. Yeah, it's struggling. Not looking very bullish, to be honest with you. Just this little price action right here. So the last big liquidity sweep that we had was this one, which I think we also found on the 15-minute, was it? Or the 5-minute? I think it was the 5. Yep. Right. We saw it sweep on the 5-minute. So now we're definitely, I mean, it changed. It was a market structure shift saying that we are now bullish. But it did retrace, which we expect. It's just the next couple candles made it seem like this retracement was all we were going to get. Potentially there could be a deeper retracement in store. And so we need to also be flexible enough for that. So let's go back and measure this move. Had this on earlier. I was hoping to get down to 50%, where you then feel comfortable that it's retraced far enough. Price got almost there and then took off. So it's like, okay, well, we'll go with price then. But now that it's showing an unwillingness to continue to make higher prices, we need to just make sure it's not going to continue to retrace if we're looking to go long. Let me see if I can find a silver bullet video. Okay, here it is. Yeah, Chris, I'm not sure it allows you to post links, so I'll put it in. Oops. Hopefully you're able to click on that and it's a link. From my side, it doesn't look like a link, but that's the title of the video. Yeah. All right, let me try something different. I'm not sure that worked. There we go. I think that's better. There we go. Sweet. As for anyone who's unfamiliar with the silver bullet and wants more information from the author himself, come on. Holy cow. Back, I bet you the dollar's still going up. And it sure is. Let me just take a peek and show everyone what I'm looking at on the dollar. It's unbelievable. On the hourly. Right. This has been a dollar today, which looks a lot like Nasdaq yesterday. Yep, and this is why we're having our a high resistance liquidity run. All right, let me drop this Fibonacci. It does look like we're having some bullish momentum coming out of Nasdaq. It's still pushing upwards, trying to get to these equal highs. So let's go back up with our long tool for anyone who did take the long. From the fair value gap that was already present at 2 o'clock. As soon as the opening bell hit, dipped inside and then bought up. And it's kind of been hovering around, but let's just see where it is. Yep, and a 1 to 2 trade would take your TP up here. All right, seems like we got a little slow crawl up. Still positive though, but not pushing hard. We're getting close to halfway through our session today. So just want to remind everyone to like the video so YouTube can bring us more traders so we can continue to grow our room. Okay. It's still another 3 minutes on this 15-minute fair value gap. Let's see if it'll hold. This will be the third time that price has traded above this 15-minute fair value gap, and each time, well, the previous two times, it's traded back below. So now we want to see if this third time can hold. Again, we got another 2.5 minutes until it closes. While we wait for that closure to happen, I'm going to go and grab some water so I have a voice for the next 90 minutes. But yeah, let's get ready for the last 90 minutes of this trading year. Right, you see now a breakdown in price. I clearly doesn't want to close above this 15-minute fair value gap prior to the end of this 15-minute section or this 15-minute candle. So it's still going to be there. It's still going to be an obstacle for higher prices if that's truly what it's going to happen today. Keep in mind, this is the last 90 minutes of the trading day. So keep your risk light. Try not to risk too much, even if you see a setup that you love. This. Yeah, it's a good push so far. Let's see if this candle can close in this area and create a fair value gap of its own. Okay. See if this candle, this next one that just started, can create a small retracement, but then big push upwards, leaving a fair value gap. Maybe. Not big enough. I was hoping it would be similar size. Those are some of my most confident entries when you get something like this, where you have a failed fair value gap that then creates on the other side the opposite fair value gap. So we had a bearish one here. We had a candle just blast through it. And then I was hoping it would create the bullish fair value gap on this side. You get a retracement in and then strong momentum out. Excuse me. All right. The fair value gap hasn't been violated, but price is still not doing anything right now. Taking the last 2 or 3 minutes off. Okay, we've been stuck here for about 45 minutes now. This, this is where we are. Okay. Okay. Not bad. That was a decent move. Hmm. All right. Yeah, this is definitely a test of patience. So anyone in the trade, kudos to you. I'm sure the rest of us are happy we're not in. Take out this high. 17,031. This next swing high is 17,035. So it's only a handful of points. And then 17,036 for the equal highs. So we're getting there. We're about 5 points off. I hear you, Chuck. Absolutely. Well, yeah, if you have to bail on us and grab something to eat, man, by all means do so. This price is just dragging and dragging and dragging. Okay. Okay, finally, we're getting a slight pullback on the dollar. Slight pullback. Just want to keep that in perspective. It's maybe a 15 to 20% pullback on the hourly candle. Mm-mm. Yep, we're coming up on an hour in this same area. So that's at 140. And now at 240, we're only 10 points above. Oh, What we want to see is at 245, we want to be above this 15-minute fair value gap. We have not closed the 15-minute candle on top of that. So let me switch over to the 15 just so we can all see that time frame. And that's where we want to be. We want to be above this fair value gap at the close of this candle. Do that. Come on, price. Let's get there. 2.5 minutes left. Okay, not bad. Okay, looks like we didn't make it. Not surprising. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15-minute candles in a row rejecting the fair value gap. So we're almost an hour and a half of rejecting this area. Yep, absolutely. We're still waiting. Let's go back down to the 2 minute, 1 minute. Yeah. Yep, we got 15 minutes left after 2:59. You no longer want to look for the silver bullet setup. You want to look for something else. Yep, you're right. We are accumulating. Question is, when will we distribute? And if we're going to manipulate, which direction? All right, I just want to go all the way back to January, if we can. Oh, sorry. Need to do the continuous contract. Go back to December and look and see what the last trading day of last year looked like. I believe it was December 30th was the last trading day. Okay, here we go. All right, so this was most of the trading day, all the way through. This was a 2 o'clock candle, so 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Then all of a sudden at 3 o'clock, there was this big bullish candle up. Not sure that's what we're going to get today, but I did want to let you know that I took a look and I saw that when price action wasn't very strong, for whatever reason, at 3 o'clock, something happened. And it gave a bit of fireworks for the end of the day. It wasn't a huge range, but it was 615 to, okay, 120 points actually, a little larger than I thought. So we could see some action at 3 o'clock. Not promising anything, but we'll wait and see. Okay, let's go back to where we were. Oh, we're doing this again. So we're back above the 15-minute fair value gap. Let's see if we can take out these equal highs at 17,036. Okay, Farouk, let's see. Long one. Please tell me the stop loss. Okay, Farouk, are you trading the Nasdaq? Oh wow, okay. Finally took out those equal highs. Maybe that's exactly what price action needed to continue pushing upwards. Maybe we'll also finally get a close above this fair value gap that's been a thorn for the last hour and 15, hour and a half. And again, for anyone who jumped in and at 2 o'clock took this fair value gap entry, so this is still your 1 to 2 trade here. And even though you had 2 entries come out, this is the lowest it came, so it didn't stop you out. Your stop loss would have been 10.25 points. It did come down around 8 points or so, but it never took you out of the trade. Right, and as we look around, if that wasn't the silver bullet, I mean, because we're getting close to the end of 2 o'clock, so let me look and see where the silver bullet may have been. Okay, it's probably not on the 1 minute. Let me switch time. Guess maybe on this 2 minute, it could have been right here, possibly, where you still would have had your stop loss placed below this point at 17.021, which didn't get tagged afterwards, so you would have still been in the trade there. That would have been, that trade would have looked like this. So a 1 to 2 would be right there. So that trade would be almost over. In fact, you would have been 1 tick off on the last candle, and maybe this candle will hit it at 39.75. Let me move this out of the way. Yep. You're 1 tick away. Long since 17.028. All right, so this entry here, if you consider that your silver bullet, you would have TP'd out just now if you were looking at a 1 to 2 risk reward. Let's get rid of this. That would have given you a total of 12 points. All right, if you took the first one and considered that your silver bullet, your 20 points would have just been delivered, but you would have been in this trade for, let's see. Yeah, you would have got in right at 10 o'clock or 10:01. So you would have been in that trade for 55 minutes fighting and battling for your 20 points. 15-point move. Okay. at the high of the day. Yep. That's what we've been looking for, the high of the day. We've been looking for that since 10 o'clock when we first got on this morning. Finally, we got a breakthrough. Both of these trades have delivered. Neither hit stop. We can close in 4 minutes above this line. We'll get rid of this fair value gap that's been thorn in our backside for quite some time. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of this. Way too long. Yeah, you're right, Chuck. That was a hard fight. It's quite a battle. Glad I wasn't in it, but if I was, that would have been quite a battle. Okay, that takes us deep into this fair value gap, or deeper into the fair value gap on the 1 hour that we have at the bottom left hand corner of the screen. We're not quite halfway through that fair value gap, but we have made a pretty good progress through there. If you look at the entire leg down from 7 o'clock this morning, we've retraced nearly 60% of that. Let me drop that Fibonacci. We don't need that any longer. Okay, get you out of here. Get this one out of here. Yeah, it's nice to clean up the charts a little bit. Drop back down to the 1 minute. Anyone who's still in from this location down around 1 o'clock, down around 17,000 even. Like, I had a limit order thinking that we can get down to 16,900, or yeah, 16,990. Sorry, 16,990, and it never happened. But if anyone got in at 17,000 even, it was a long time coming. But if you held long enough, you made it up to at least a 40-point win. I think it's safe to say we're going to close above. So let me get rid of this. It's another 15 seconds. I don't expect a huge spike down in 15 seconds. 17,042 and close. Yep, 17,041 was a swing high we got. Looks like we did close above. Okay, maybe not. Oh, the last minute of the 5. Okay. Awesome, awesome. Yep, here we go. Nice gap there that could hold. Okay, Chris, this would be that entry. So entry around 17,035 and run it up 25 points, 1760. Let's see if we do get that. Let's get 4 minutes. All right, larger fair value gap on the 4 minute. Three. Okay, it's right in there now. 2 minute. It's below it. And the 1 minute. Okay, nothing on the one. Wow. Let's go back to the 5 since this is where we started. All right, just like last hour, we got everything moving in unison. Everything is selling right now. All indices and the dollar. All right, last line of defense. And there it is, gone. All right. I have price coiling back on me. It's my second try for the day. And second loss of the day. But it's okay. Clean our charts up and we'll continue looking for what price delivers next. Okay, 5 minutes after the hour, 30, well, actually 3:06. So we're now into power hour. Thank you everyone who's hung in there and still hanging in there. It's the last hour of trading for the year. Yep, so we got a rejection here. So it tapped me out as usual. And then you see price start to reject and move in a different direction. 88%, just slightly below that on the retracement. If it comes back down, I'll take a low risk entry. Otherwise, I'll sit on the sideline until next year. There she goes. How do you know which one to take? Chris, you really don't know which one to take. However, what you want to pay attention to is when you see a price leg, always be able to measure the price leg and understand that a retracement, you want to see a mid level. You want to see a 50% retracement. And when you get that, then you can start looking. So if you have fair value gaps all the way down, you want to look for the ones that are below 50% if you're looking for a long. But I don't have a good system to say, okay, if there's 4 of them, take the third one or take the bottom one. It's just the longer you wait, and the lower one that you enter in on carries less risk, but also a larger likelihood that it does not reach your level. So that's where you're balancing. Will it reach my level, and how much am I willing to risk? Maybe you take the first one, but then you put your stop loss below the bottom one, and just try to see what that price variance is and whether 15 points is large enough for your stop loss, or too large for your stop loss, or whatever your risk tolerance is. Oh, there it is. Tapped me out and ran away. I even tried to get back in and it ran away. So, man, that would have been nice. I would have recovered all my losses today on that one if I would have got back in. And this is what happens. I think I mentioned this yesterday. This is very common at 3 o'clock or between the power hour, 3 and 4 o'clock. Retracements are usually really deep to make sure that people aren't able to follow the trend with a tight stop loss, like just trailing every swing low behind. You'll see it went up, made a new high, and it came back and it took out everyone except for these people who were at the bottom of the price leg. And if you start back testing just the power hour, you'll see that happen a lot. Or if you trade it a lot, you'll find that you get stopped out quite a lot, and then price continues the direction you thought it was going. No, it's okay, man. It's like I said, I've been trading for 3 years, so I'm okay. I'm okay with the way these things happen. Like I said, there's always tomorrow, or in our case, there's Tuesday. And so here we go. If you look at this price leg, see, Chris, you had two. You wanted to at least wait to 50%. So you could have got in this first one here, but you would have wanted to make sure that your stop loss was below this fair value gap, just in case it retraced in. It wouldn't stop you out. And realizing that there's a high probability that it might trace into this fair value gap as well. So in this case, what you would have wanted to do is your entry would have been here, but then your stop would have been here. Remember, below this candle, bottom. Or if you really want to be conservative, your stop would have been here. And that 16 points then forces you to 33 points up. So then you have to decide whether you feel like price really is going to go that far. Right? And if you don't think price is going to go this far, then what you need to do is reduce this, which means then you're either going in at 50% or you're waiting for the next fair value gap. And if it doesn't come down here, you're willing to just let it run away from you. So then if you took this one, obviously your 1 to 2 is much less. Right? So you can enter on the bottom fair value gap, and all you need is a slight high created above the previous high by 2 or 3 ticks, and then you TP out at what's that, 20 points. Hmm. Mm. You know what? It's already hit that level. So if it comes down and taps it out again, that's fine. 315, last day of trading. Let's see where price wants to go. Yes, in TradingView, I do pay for data. Although you don't need to do it if you're in a funded account with Topstep. So if you're trading through Topstep, it's already done for you. But if you're trading without one of the without one of the prop firms and you're just doing paper trading or you're trading through another broker, you do need to pay for live data for futures, which is, it's like $4 and some change, less than $5 per month. Let's see, okay, finally the dollar is retreating. Finally, this hour. Okay, indices are bullish, dollars bearish. Let's see how, look at you. Look at that. Glad I had a stop loss. Let's see if it'll do one of these 88% retracements. $83.5. So for anyone who was waiting on the bottom fair value gap to be filled, they got filled, and look at where they are now. All right, now we have all the indices doing the same thing. So they all did that push down that just happened with Nasdaq. Right, so we got a full retracement on that leg, although that leg made a new high, but retraced all the way back in. So we didn't even get a closure above the candle bodies on this leg. Okay, let's drop this. Okay, back into our afternoon sort of consolidation we were in. So now we're back to where we started at around 130. Okay. Is that enough of a retracement to now have it run up for a new afternoon high? Oh, the one trade setup. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that video. Stopped watching ICT videos probably 4 or 5 months ago. Just getting overloaded with them, and also spending all day trading, and so it's just hard to mix in all that. Plus, in the evenings, um, watching more videos, also back testing. So I got to the point where I said, okay, I have about what I need now. Now it's time to just focus on a few things that I like, and not try to do everything that he's doing. And I would suggest that for everyone else as well. Pick 2, 3, 4 setups that you like and just focus on those, and not try to do every setup that you've ever heard of ever seen. It'll just take too long to be good at it. It's time windows and how they affect price. Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll take a look and see what it's all about. $17.024. Okay, Brad. Well, you did get a rejection from a level here down here, and then the impulse out did create a fair value gap on this time frame. You got a retracement back in, so it's not a bad entry. Put your stop loss down here at 17.014. See if you can make a run up on these highs, or maybe further. Yep. Take something like this. See, 1 to 2. You don't even need to eclipse this high. All right, Brad, you're the man of the hour. Your trade's on the screen. Let's see how it pans out. Okay, it looks like 50% has already been met. Check this out and see. Yep, already halfway there. Okay. Anyone who wanted to take this trade and do a one-to-one trade, one-to-one has already delivered, so you'd be out of it already. And this is the 1-to-2. All right, 3:30. You got 30 minutes left. Let's see where price will take us. $69.43 New York launch. Okay. You're right about that. Chop, chop, chop. Not really excited to get anywhere, actually. I mean, part of it is it's the 1 minute chart, so I do have it stretched a bit just to make it a bit easier to see. But still, yeah, you can see it's just even from the last hour, it's just moving from left to right in the same area. We thought that this breakout would have given us something, but I guess we should have paid a bit closer attention to when it couldn't close above. It retraced back in and actually closed below the previous candle. Right, and this is really unlike price action, especially this late in the day, to continue to give the same entry. not something you see very often. It's usually in a hurry to get somewhere. So if you didn't get in, you missed it. Okay. All right, we've had that area tested 4 times now. All right, looks like we are getting some people to wanting to get their weekend started or getting ready for the New Year's celebration. So if you would just hit the like button on your way out, that would be much appreciated and help the channel out quite a bit. Doesn't cost you anything, but it's very helpful for me. I know this chop is not everyone's favorite, and we are getting close to the end of today's session. So I do recognize people are moving on. And anyone who's leaving and on their way out, thank you for joining. We did have a good session today, even though it wasn't the most ideal trading session. They're all still good. They're learning, and it's also just camaraderie, just us hanging out and talking about trading, talking about anything. All right, let's see if this continues to push price down like it did the last time. Okay. Let me move this trade out of the way. Oh, Brad, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. My entries are also magnets for price. Every single time I go to break even, comes right for me. Almost immediately, it comes for me. Okay, we had a swing high, recent swing high broken, which might help price continue to climb. We do want to see price get above and close above it, though. We definitely want to see that. Well, we're going to hang in here and see. We're going to see what happens. Maybe the last couple minutes might bring us something good. How that is true. We saw that yesterday. We was like, what? Was that a war or something? We saw price just like zap in like 2 seconds. All right, let's get that out of the way. Just have a little cleaner chart. We still haven't bounced in this area yet. We did once right here and rejected out of it. But then we came back and found support from this fair value gap, just like when we first entered on this side. Mhm. Okay, equal highs. So far, so good. That was a strong move. Oh, it wasn't meant to be, it seems. $345. Okay. So sell off in a minute and a half is one of our members is predicting. We are right back into that consolidation zone that we've been in for the last 2 hours. Okay. Everyone get ready. 30 seconds left. We've had a retest of the same fair value gap that has been tested once, twice. Now this is the third one. Each of the previous has provided some bullish bounce, even though it's not a super strong one, but it has provided about 20 points. All right, here we go. Okay, this line I have marked here is 50% of this wick from 320 when you had a big move down. Right. Let's see if it's just like its predecessors and it gets up to at least 17,040 to deliver 20 points. Hey. Okay, I wanted to see how this candle would close and look at it. Okay, so it did take out half of that wick. Its fair value got below. We'll see if it wants to retest, see how it reacts when previously it went to halfway and reacted bullish out of it. Let's see what we get now. 2 minutes. Okay. 350. Yep. Oh. Oh, sorry about that, Brad. That was a nice entry you had earlier, though. I liked it. It just at the end of the day, price just not wanting to move with you, not wanting to seek any higher prices. Um, but no, I felt like that was a good entry you made. So many times today. Yeah. Let's see. Yep, we started at 11 o'clock. It was in this area. Came back at around 1 o'clock, and then we got stuck at like 1:45. Market makers went on holiday starting at 1:45. They put the computer on auto and they left, and then this is what we get stuck with. Okay, price did break through that fair value gap, which previously it bounced out of the 50% mark. Let's see. $16,995 is the target. We're almost there. The lower quadrant of this fair value gap. If Elbon Inc. is correct, we'll get down to the lower quadrant of this fair value gap, which is also around the starting price at 1 o'clock. Sit back. We got 10 minutes. Let's see what price does to round out the year. Right. Okay. Looks like the largest candle we've seen this hour. Get rid of this one. All right, this candle should give us a lot of information, whether we can take out this high and continue, or whether, I don't know if you noticed, but there seems to be a channel coming down. Lower highs, lower lows. So if we see this candle break down and create a new lower low, then we pretty much have an answer there. That we're not going to get that huge spike that we thought we might. The VWAP, okay. Yep. Yep, looks like that could be a good chance that we just kind of fizzle out in this area right around 17,000 to 1730, and let that be our opening value, well, our closing value for this year, and we'll see what kind of gap we get Monday at 1800 when the markets open back, or I'm sorry, when electronic trading opens back. We have a run on highs to end the day. Oh no, look at that. Wow. Oh man, it was so close. I thought it was going to run some highs. And somebody flipped a switch and the bottom fell out. What was that level? Right there. 16,995. There it is. He called it. Let's see, what was the second level he called? 16,943 would be the next one. Okay, that's down here. That's another 50 points. All right, the dollar sold off early in the hour and now has recovered everything, so it's back at its opening value for 3 o'clock. All other indices, big time selling this hour. If we make it down to this lime green area, right here, 16,963, that is our new week opening gap. So we would be back at the same level we started this week with. So for everything we went through this week, we could finish up with 0 progress for the week. Okay, we're getting close to time here. Just want to thank everybody for being with us. I want to wish everyone a happy new year. Hope everyone has a safe weekend. We got 3 or 4 minutes, so throw any final questions or comments that you have in the chat before we get out of here. Derek D, back down to lunch high. Yeah, absolutely wiped out the entire afternoon session. Yeah, it's been a blast. I've only been streaming for a month, right? So the first day was November 30th, and then we went into December 1st. So it's been very good for me. It's been a great time. I know some of you have enjoyed it because I've read your comments. Hopefully there's more to come next year. Hopefully we continue to grow, but also we have good trading sessions, and we all can continue to grow as traders, not just having more people in our room, but let's also grow as traders. And yeah, that's all I got. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that they're appreciated by being here, and also that I wish you all a happy new year. And we'll be back Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock, the New York session. And so everyone who's eager to trade and they, feel a little antsy on Monday because the markets are closed, catch us first thing Tuesday morning. Thank you very much, everyone. I do appreciate it. Jeremiah, good to have you on the channel. Don't be shy. Next time, come and say hi when you join in. Glad that the channel is growing and that we have lots of like-minded traders here. But everyone trades their own style, and people trade different commodities. We're not all trading Nasdaq, and so I didn't want that to be a restriction to joining the channel or being included. So this has been a great month for me, and I'm looking forward to big things next year. Thank you all. I really do appreciate it. Barry White of trading. All right, I'll take it. Maybe that'll bring us some female traders. I've looked at the stats, and the stat says 98.5% of you are male. Oh, thank you for that. Yes, don't forget, hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. I need to put in the, I didn't do any of the invitations yet, so I need to go and make sure I have the invitation set up for Tuesday morning so everyone can go ahead and put that on their calendars or make sure they get those reminders. And with that being said, look at price. Where are you going? And what took you so long? Now it wants to make a run on all these stops. This one and maybe another one. But anyway, no one's trading now. It's too late. It's the 11th hour on the last day of the year. I'm sure everyone has their laptops closed. Oh, we do have a female. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Normally there's not a lot in my YouTube stats. When I look at it, it doesn't show that there's a lot in the room. If you know other female traders, invite them to the room. It's better if we have a diverse room, I think. All right, it's 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Unless there was any final comments or final questions, I think I'm going to start my weekend and start preparing for next year. Yeah, no, that was a crazy move, Chris. Don't worry, we'll catch those type of moves next year. We're gonna use the weekend and the first part of next year to strengthen our trading, strengthen our psychology, and then we're gonna start crushing these markets. So everyone take care. Happy New Year all. And I'll talk to you Tuesday morning for everyone who can join. All right. Cheers. Happy New Year.